Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you with New Warriors #2. This one was a good issue. I was a little on the fence about it when I first cracked it open. But what really sucked me in is it's a real good way of showing character progression. This issue focuses on Night Thrasher. And before we get into this, the print date on this was August 1990. And I like that this kind of opens in a noirish way. These cops are checking out this warehouse. We see someone in the shadows, still draped in them. And a quick punch. Quick punch. And I just love that absence of color with the red. And we still don't get our pictures of our villain. We just get a close-up on these eyes saying, "We use the merchandise to obscure my involvement." Then, as I promised, to obscure the merchandise. So 3 cops killed, I think 3 or 4. And then this. So we don't get a whole lot of what our villain's about. This issue is called Mirror Moves. This is Fabian Nikezia writing, Mark Bagley penciler, Al Williamson inker, Michael Hessler letter, Andy Yakuas colorist, Danny Fingeroth editor, and Tom DeFalco gym teacher. At least he still had a sense of humor at the time. So from what I understand in reading this, is this has been a couple of months since issue 1. Team's starting to kind of train together. Chode kind of becomes the dude in the chair that kind of monitors everybody, and he's trying to push everyone. He's telling Marvel Boy, instead of just holding this thing up, start to turn it. Telling Night Thrasher that this is called an Iron T stance. He goes, holding that for 20 minutes doesn't impress me anymore. But I like how Speedball just, I'll be honest, this is probably my least favorite character of the team, but he just talk. And I like how he just says, Speedball, please just shut up. And the artwork here is great. You know, you kind of get that obscured vision. You see that this is like on a monitor or a window. You see all the previewing. Just a really cool idea, very dynamic. And what I like about the New Warriors is they're still new. They're kind of starting to shed off the cockiness that they had from the first issue, and you can see that they're still making mistakes, which these are younger kids. That's why Steve Rogers in the first issue told Marvel Boy, "You're not ready for the big league, son." So that's why he joined this team, is to gain experience. And hold on, where is that one thing? There was a joke that I wanted to talk about here. Hold on. Nope, not here. Okay, maybe it's the next page. Let's take a look, shall we? Yeah, here we go. So I like that there's humor. So for example, Nova's like, "Everything's still hanging okay, Nita?" Neighbor Miranda, which is Namor's cousin. She goes, "Wouldn't you like to know, Marvel Boy?" Like, oh my. So right after that, I get a little bit of levity in the book, which I'm glad, because it gets serious quick. So I can't remember, Ty, I think's her name. She brings in this paper saying 3 officers found killed. Now, what's his name? Hold on. I think his real name is revealed here. Where is it? Dwayne Michael Taylor. So that's Night Thrasher's real name. He comes to find out that this is the work of someone he knows, and his temperament changes quickly. She goes, "What is it, Taylor?" "Hello, to Night Thrasher." "Dwayne, don't clam up, boy." Sends the passcord. "They have come to claim their stake. If this is who we think it is, we're going to have to be careful. I should have expected it." And see, what I like about Night Thrasher is he kind of reminds me of like a young version of Bruce Wayne. You know, both his parents were murdered. He uses what resources he has to take on crime. And then we get the backstory of the villain that we saw at the beginning of the book. He's telling this woman to a drug drop, and he's thinking that everything is starting to fall apart real quick. The girl that's supposed to do the drop runs away. Night Thrasher intervenes, and before he can chase down the girl, this, again, silhouette just knocks the crap out of him. And then this is where we learn of these two characters. This is Midnight's Fire, interesting choice of a name, and Silhouette, their brother and sister. And Night Thrasher's talking about how he wants to join them. She goes, we have a month to plan for the next drug drop-off. I don't know why you're here, but if you are sincere, my sister and I would welcome your help. I'm simply known as Midnight's Fire. And so Dwayne talks about how they trained intensely for months to get ready for this next drug drop. And of course, there's the romantic part where he falls in love with Silhouette. And what I like is how Dwayne says that working with these two characters was what inspired him to want to start the New Warriors, because things go downhill quick, because Midnight's Fire and Dwayne kind of have different ideas on how to take care of drug dealers and crime in general. And it also teaches Dwayne a very serious lesson on terms of assuming. Because I don't know if many of you have heard this, but my mom used to always tell me that when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. And Dwayne kind of does this here, and it costs both of the men something very special. And so as you can see, Midnight Fire, instead of kind of looking friendly towards Dwayne, he goes, you will pay for this, Night Thrasher. And he slices Dwayne in the face, so that's how he gets that scar on the side of his face. And Dwayne says, this is my fight. This is kind of my sin. He goes, you're afraid of him? Are you kidding me? And if you let this guy get away with killing 3 cops because you're scared, then you should consider your line of work, Taylor. If you'll excuse us, we got to get to Chinatown and find us a killer. Past the ads. But as you can see how everything feels very noirish. The art, very beautiful, very dynamic. It does not feel flat. I mean, look at this Night Thrasher jumping out of a helicopter. How freaking awesome is that? That kind of reminds me of Stallone in Demolition Man. That was just an awesome scene. And you come to find out that Midnight's Fire is running Chinatown, essentially. And here, 2 people that were close friends get into just a nasty punch tit for tat, beating the crap out of each other. And it makes Dwayne really question his ethics. He goes, instead of fighting, we should be sharing our grief. What's it going to take, Fire? Do I have to kill you before you see how wrong you are? And there's actually a surprise. And you kind of learn the depths of how far Midnight's Fire has fallen and what it will eventually cost him. Now, even though this is a heavy, this comic focuses heavy on Night Thrasher's character, I still like that you find out that he's hired, Midnight's Fire has hired AIM agents as kind of his own jackboot thugs. And we get some really kick-ass fighting moments with the rest of the New Warriors and how they kind of start to learn to work together, even though you have to suffer through Speedball. As I said, is probably my least favorite character. But by the end of the issue, you kind of feel like, there should be some resolution, which there is, but it's bitter sweet. And that's how you do a good story, because you want to see characters grow, but in a sense you see Night Thrasher grow, but also become colder and, in my opinion, more Bruce Wayne style. So yeah, guys, New Warriors #2. Going back and reading these are some damn fine stories. I enjoyed Fabian Nicieza on X-Force, X-Men, and then New Warriors. I like that he kind of just took a bunch of characters that were semi-obscure and made them his own. I mean, this is one of the few times I really enjoyed Nova. I always enjoyed Namorita, so I'm glad that she's in this book. Same with, what's her name? It's something Fire. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but y'all know who I'm talking about. And then just this year, Night Thrasher is kind of my new breakout character, even though he was set in the 90s. Whatever. Great book. If you guys have enjoyed it, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick it up. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little Thrasher bell next to subscribe, that way as we can continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.